years, Itato spent on foreign exchange and 60 billion naira in budgetary provisions for fertilizer subsidy.
The federal government has assured victims of the recent flood in Benue State of its commitment to provide the necessary healthcare services to them. Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, visited the internally displaced persons camps in the state. Blessing Omeshe Ebute has the details.
One of the major concerns in the face of natural disasters such as being experienced in Benue State is the outbreak of diseases among affected persons. Therefore, there is every need for proactive action to be embarked upon to contain it. The visit of the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, to Benue State is a demonstration by the federal government towards ensuring that the authorities are not taken unawares in the event of any health challenge. At the IDP's camp he visited, the minister assured the inmates that measures have been put in place to assist their health challenges in collaboration with other stakeholders.
Based on the areas of identified need, we will provide more drugs and other commodities that have been listed.
While inspecting the health facilities at the camps, Professor Isaac Adewale expressed satisfaction at the facilities on ground but said more needs to be done as the number of inmates are increasing by the day. The Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Cecilia Ojabo, who received the delegation, expressed appreciation to the federal government for the timely intervention. The minister also donated drugs and mosquito nets to the affected persons. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
Respite will soon come the way of internally displaced persons of Bakassi through the Future Assured program of the wife of the president, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. National coordinator of the program, Pauline Tallinn, who stated this at an interactive forum in Calabar, said the displaced persons, especially women and children, deserve a better livelihood. Udrak Hetim has details.
The forum, which explored the effects of conflict on the economic development of women, highlighted the plight of women and children during conflict situations. Mrs. Tallinn said the Future Assured program will continue to work towards improving the welfare of women and children in the country. She urged women to be ambassadors of peace, as no nation can develop in an atmosphere of disunity.
Women must remain solid peacemakers, they must be peace ambassadors, they must exhibit that motherly role of ensuring peace and shun anything that will lead to conflict.
Keynote speaker Professor Dorothy Olu Jacob, while emphasizing the importance of conflict resolution, said women and children are the most vulnerable during conflicts. Convener of the forum, Edema Erom, and other participants urged government at all levels to always nip in the bud a conflict situation before it escalates.
Really explain the effects of conflict on women, and if you go to the IDP camps, you see, witness their experiences, daily experiences, and you know it's not funny. So it is time for Nigeria to rise up, all Nigerians, to rise up and work against every violent conflict.
As women, what we're also saying is, when you see lists of people going for peace building and all that, check, is there a woman there? It affects us most. We want a woman there. In our political platforms, let's encourage more women participation.
Conflict situation does not do anybody any good. No matter how you look at it, it affects women, it affects everybody, it affects men, it affects children.
The forum drew women from various walks of life, including traders and professional bodies. In Calabar, Udwak Etam, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force, in its quest to further decimate Boko Haram terrorists, has launched an intensive offensive on newly identified terrorist hideouts around Borno and environs. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma, who is in the northeast, tells us more.
The Air Force has always maintained an eye in the sky through its intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance platforms in the ongoing military operation in the northeast to wipe out Boko Haram terrorists. Latest intelligence reveals 4 new locations where the insurgents have regrouped. While the rain seems to slow the ground forces' advance and maneuver to the new hideouts of terrorists, the intensive day and night bombings on the target areas, codenamed Operation Ruwan-Wuta, is to further decimate the capacity of the insurgents.
The most important thing...
The Chief of Training and Operations, Nigerian Air Force, is optimistic that the offensive against the terrorists will record no collateral damage.
Prior to this time, we have been conducting ISR, which the footages are brought back for analysis. These analyses have told us where the combatants are, where the logistic bases are, where the families are, so that now it's not that we're looking for where they are now. The Iran incident, though unfortunate, but we have taken measures to ensure that IDP camps or anywhere that international organizations are operating is identified on our maps and is indicated during the briefings to remind the pilots of these areas. So hopefully, God willing, we will not have any of such incidents again.
As the pilots take off from base during the day and at night with their aircraft fully armed with rockets, missiles and bombs, and return with all the arms expended, the battle damage assessment can only be imagined. 7 fighter jets, 2 combat helicopters and 2 surveillance aircraft are deployed for the operations. In Maiduguri, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
The Department of State Services, DSS, has arrested some alleged masterminds of a planned gun attack and suicide bombing on selected targets in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Kano, Kaduna, Niger, Bauchi, Yobe, and Borno states. The suspects, Islamic State of West Africa terrorists, plan to cause mayhem and destruction that would have disrupted the Eid al-Kabir Salah festivities between 1st and 4th of this month. The mastermind of the operation, according to the DSS, is one Husseini Meitangaran, who had been on the service and Nigerian Army radar since 2012, when he spearheaded the armed attacks on the office of the assistant. Inspector General of Police Zone 1, as well as other public places in Kano, Husseini, was arrested in Kano on the 31st of August alongside one Abdul Kadri Umar Mohammed. In a statement, the DSS spokesman, Tony Opuyo, said other arrests were made of one Muhammad Ali Yahya Mohammed Abacha, as well as Abdul Karim Mohammed, also known as Baba Megiwa. The service enjoined the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious movement to law enforcement agencies. To ensure standing rules of the federal government's joint intervention project on universal basic education are achieved, there is need for constant monitoring and evaluation by states' universal basic education boards. This is the view of the House of Representatives Committee during a 3-day oversight function to project sites in Sokoto State. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
Access to affordable basic education by all is the fundamental goal of the Universal Basic Education Program. However, a visit by the House of Representatives Committee on Universal Basic Education to Sokoto State revealed that the goal is yet to be entirely achieved, as many children have no access to this opportunity due to certain constraints in the implementation of the federal government's joint intervention project.
We have pointed out areas of correction, and we have said that let projects be located on need basis, not on equal distribution basis.
Members were concerned about the quality of work in the provision of the infrastructure, lack of electricity and other amenities necessary for conducive learning. Both ongoing and completed projects of the 20 primary and junior secondary schools were inspected by members across the state in company of the Universal Basic Education officers at national and state level. From Sokoto State, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
The Presidential Fertilizer Initiative will deliver 4 million bags of 50-kilogram NPK fertilizer to farmers at affordable price before the end of the year. Senior Special Assistant for the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, who disclosed this in a radio program over the weekend, said the 11 fertilizer blending plants in the country would be increased to 18 this year and in turn provide no fewer than 50,000 direct empowerment to Nigerians. This project delivery is in addition to the 6 million bags already sold to farmers since the initiative commenced early this year. The presidential aide also hinted that the production of locally blended fertilizer has saved the federal government about $150 million foreign exchange and 60 billion naira fertilizer subsidy. He quoted a newspaper report that 50 kilogram NPK fertilizer, which sold for 10,900 last year, now sells for 6,500 in different locations across the country. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. More news on Panorama after this timeout. Don't go away.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Thanks for rejoining us. Professionals in the agricultural sector have commended the federal government's commitment and efforts towards promoting increased agricultural production in the drive to diversify the nation's economy. They, however, advocate that such efforts need to be matched with bold and innovative measures that will promote the use of available scientific technologies to solve problems of poor agricultural productivity, health, and nutrition. This was at a forum at the instance of OFAP held in Abuja.
In the wake of economic recovery and diversification to boost the livelihood and standard of living of citizens, agriculture in Nigeria has been identified as a major sector with potentials to harness. Relevant actors in the sector say it is time for Nigeria to recognize biotechnology as a powerful tool and promising technology capable of delivering a wide range of economic, social, and environmental benefits.
For how long will Nigerian farmers continue to be in subsistence farming, small-scale farming, and abject poverty? How do we become self-reliant? How do we become self-sufficient in food? How do we achieve zero hunger? We need to use pervasive technologies like biotechnology, combined with mechanization, probiotics, and all.
It has brought to the fore the issue of genetically modified organisms, popularly known as GMOs. When you hear GMOs, everybody wants to say, have they come to kill us with poisoned food? Who said the agency is not there to protect you from what we do not want? The National Biosafety Management Agency is well positioned.
For a long time now, there has been a growing concern on the ways to boost food security in sub-Saharan Africa. This, professionals say, recognizing that farming in today's world can only become attractive, profitable, and meaningful if science and technology is applied.
You cannot, on one hand, say you don't want GMOs, and on the second breath, you say abrogate the law.
So if we are going to have agricultural productivity, it must be based on science, technology, and research and innovation. There's no doubt about it. And so, and you cannot do that. And let's not deceive ourselves. Let's not deceive ourselves. If we are going to produce enough food for Nigeria, we must do it differently, and it must be based on science and technology.
They stressed that application of emerging agricultural biotechnology is fundamental if Nigeria intends to play a lasting role in the biotech industry as the country prepares to become a global leader in the agricultural sector. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has been described as a major symbol of integrity and honesty still existing in the Nigerian political environment. A chieftain of the All People's Congress APC and businessman Prince Arthur Eze said this while addressing supporters from Anambra State who visited him to rejoice with him over the return and good health of President Muhammadu Buhari, who recently returned from a medical vacation abroad. Prince Eze said the safe return and good health being enjoyed by the president is the making of God. He urged Nigerians to continue to support him in his efforts to develop and unite the country, as well as ward off all divisive tendencies.
I'm glad that God brought Buhari back, safe and sound. That means that Nigeria is going to survive. Buhari, God has made him a leader of a new generation of politicians, to lead us the path of peace, stability, economic, political.
Prince Eze also commended the current effort of the Buhari government in fighting corruption, as well as move being made by government to ensure full autonomy for the local government.
You've got it.
Unemployment rate the world over has been blamed on youths over dependence on white-collar jobs. Consequently, a retired civil servant and author, Blessing Audu, is championing an advocacy on how Nigerian youths can be self-reliant. Adebola Brooksley Sunday reports that Blessing Audu put together a suggestion in a book titled Business Ideas That Guarantee Financial Freedom.
Over the years, government has been adjudged the highest employer of labor. A development experts say is sequel to the inability of the youths to harness their entrepreneurial skills.
To add to the average youth of Nigeria.
Presenting the book to the public, the author, Mrs. Blessing Audu, says there is an urgent need for the mindset of the youths to be geared towards self-reliance to create job opportunities for retaining unemployed youths.
Small-scale economy has given rise to the wealth of many other nations. We have suggested that starting small is the answer. Save a little, start small, and you will grow big.
I particularly recommend this book to the core members.
Serving core members were also urged not to wait until they are passing out parade before working towards self-employment.
If you truly understand who you are, where you are, and your worth, then you will cheaply command your circumstances.
I went through this book. I discovered that I really need this kind of book. Probably if I had a book like this 10 years ago, maybe my life would have taken a different turn.
The book, Business Idea That Guarantee Financial Freedom, has 163 pages in 13 chapters. Adebola, Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
And on sports, Minister of Youth and Sports Development calls on staff not to constitute themselves into obstacles in sports administration as Kano Pillars are crowned champions of 2017 Kwesi Basketball Premier League. Amanzi Marcus has details on Sports Update.